Hi. Welcome back to Live with Ms. Steph. Y'all, I had to take a moment because as you can hear, I was trying to ignore it, but as you can hear, I've been struggling with my voice. Why have I been struggling with my voice? Because I have been passionately talking about science over the weekend. So such is life. So I had to get myself a little warmed liquid containing a citric acid component as well as some honey. So we're going to try this again. Why are we trying it again? Because if anything, I'm persistent. I teach my students a lot of stuff. Persistence is one of them. And that's how you become a person in the community that is known for making science fun. By being persistent. So anywho, let's go ahead and press on through this, as my dad would say, press on farmer. Welcome to Live with Ms. Steph. Take two. It is Monday, October 28th, and I am here to inform you of your weekly science club news and, of course, do a fun activity with you. I promised you. And we're going to make it happen. So bear with me. One more sip. Once again, welcome to Live with Ms. Steph. I'm Ms. Steph. I am the founder and executive director of Triple F Empowerment, Inc. We operate the beloved Ms. Steph Science Club. We inspire, empower, and encourage young people to pursue education and career goals in the STEAM fields. STEAM, we've talked about it, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And coming into the later parts of the year, I really push the relationship between art and science. It's a really foundational part of our curriculum and the way that we administer the fun and love of science to our young people. And so towards the end of the year is when I choose to really make a big deal out of that. End of the year as in the end of the Gregorian calendar that we have here in these here United States. That being said, let's hop into your news portion. November 2nd, 9th, and 16th, we are going to have Saturday Science Club. Saturday Science Club is free for participants. All you got to do is RSVP. That's it. Okay? And when I say RSVP, for my regulars, my folks who have been coming, know that I expect y'all to be there. Okay, so the part of the RSVP that you are going to do is the regret. So if you know your child's not coming, go ahead and send me a quick text. And if you know, send me a quick text and let me know, hey, Miss Steph, so-and-so is not coming this particular Saturday. Everybody else, if you're new to us, send me a DM so that I know that your child is coming and I can give you a little bit of information about just kind of the process, because there's some forms that need to be filled out for the site. Those forms are not for me. We work in partnerships over here. Those forms are for our partner location, which is Wadley on 114th Street from 12 to 2 p.m. We are there first, second, and third Saturdays. Y'all, things are going to be on here on the interwebs. You know how I promote. So things will be up. A special Saturday is coming up, November 16th. We just recently had a fun special Saturday. Shout out to NYC Kids Fest. During take one, I forgot these things because I was so engulfed in the coughing. But such is life. I'm thankful to try this with you again and to be back again. We're going to press through. As I was saying, shout out to NYC Kids Fest. Y'all throw a nice party, man. So we got to hang out with them on Saturday, October 26th. And that is not why we didn't have Saturday Science Club. So just to clarify for some folks who are new to us over here on the interwebs, as Evelyn from the interwebs would say, shout out to her. But that's where I got that from. But we don't have Saturday Science Club on fourth Saturdays. That's our pattern. On fourth or fifth Saturday. Should there be a fifth Saturday, which is not very common, but should there be a fifth Saturday, we don't have a program. Fourth Saturday, we typically don't have program, and we seek to partner with folks. And so that's what we did with NYC Kids Fest. They were having an event. They collaborated with DOT, Department of Transportation, and did an event called Trick or Streets. And we were there doing slime. Because that's what we do. Among the slime, we also did kind of our gel string activity, as I like to call it. And we did a little mini volcanic-ish type thing. So we had lots of fun. Tons of things going on. Please, for those of you who met me there, hi. Please make sure you stay in contact. Make sure that you send me a DM with your email address so that we can get you into the ecosystem and make sure you are in the community, because that's what we do over here. We give kids hands-on STEAM education experiences through camp, classes, community, and consulting. All of those things we do over here at Ms. Steph Science Club. And once again, that's operated by the organization I founded in 2012, Triple F Empowerment Inc. A couple of other things to note. There are several no school days coming up. This month is that time of year, people. November 5th is what? Election day. There's no school that day. Okay? Long and short. There are all kinds of other things that are going on that day. Yes, do please vote. I'm not going to say a whole bunch about that beyond the fact that it's election day. Most schools are closed because you come on here for information from me about kind of what to do with your young person, some tips. I'm going to take out the tricks part of the tips and tricks because I don't really believe in the tricks. But the tip, right? Tip 1, stay tuned till the end so that you have another activity in your arsenal. Okay, or in your back pocket, parents, caregivers, peoples. Okay. And also on November 4th, I will be going live again. Hopefully I don't have a coughing fit, and hopefully I'll be able to go live at 9:15 as normal. Okay? But I definitely will be doing an activity. YouTube, my YouTube channel. Ms. Steph's YouTube channel. Legit, that's what it's called. Look up Ms. Steph's YouTube channel. MS, period, YouTube channel. Okay? And I have several videos that are there that you can try out. And that way you'll have plenty of activities to do with your young person on the closing dates. So one of them is November 5th. Some schools will also be closed for Veterans Day. Not everybody. November 5th, everybody's going to be closed. That's just, okay? As far as school. But your daycare, your child's daycare from when they were younger, right? So they're school age now, but maybe from when they were younger, you have a positive relationship, hopefully. With their previous daycare provider. And that's another tip that I'm offering you. Contact them. Say, hey, my kid's going to be out of school, as you know. Are y'all going to be open? What are your one-day fees and all that type of stuff? Because several of my partners that I work with, definitely, I know they provide some holiday care. So November 5th is one. November 11th. Some schools might be closed or have an altered schedule because that's Veterans Day. Shout out to all the veterans. All right. I know several. We have some veterans on our board. And for those of you who don't know, both of my parents were in the United States military. And I have a sibling and all those types of things. So shout out to them. And so once again, yes, on November 11th. Be just aware of those calendar dates for closing dates. Another one, November 28th is a federal holiday, also known as Thanksgiving. Okay? Whatever you do on that day, just know that there's no school. That's another one where nobody has school. Okay? As far as here in the U.S. and in particular in New York City or Harlem, there won't be school that day. Also, typically daycares won't even be open to do services that day, and so you're going to make sure that you want to have plans. Also, the next day, November 29th, programs will be closed. Also, I'm saying also a lot, but still stay with me because y'all know I'm here to give you the tips and to give you the Science Club news. I want to make sure that you are aware and kind of already putting in place different plans. Of course, I encourage you to do science with your young people on these days if you're home and you're hanging out. All of the materials that I'm going to say all of the materials that I use are quite easy to procure. Even the special, quote unquote, special materials that I use on these videos are things that you can grab from Amazon. Not to give them a shout out, but just to make it clear as far as where I'm getting most of my things. You can get them, and especially if I tell you now, for the end of November, you'll be prepared, right? I mean, hello, who doesn't want to be prepared? So yeah, so for that particular weekend, that's 4 days of activities that you're going to need to work out, right? And so this is one of the things that you can be doing, especially if you're going to have multiple young people in your home or you're gathering together. You can say, hey, maybe I'm not going to be available to bring a dish, but I am available to plan the science activity. Can you imagine? Come on, families. Come on, y'all. Can you imagine? I got excited for a minute. Can you imagine, instead of bringing food to the potluck, because maybe that's just not your thing, you can be the person that will say, you know what? I'm going to bring something to educate our family's young people. And easy. Throw several of my videos on. Like 100% of them are appropriate for children. Some of them might be boring because they are directed towards adults. But all of them, well, not all, some of them are me singing, but like all of the Miss Steph science videos can be popped on and you can enjoy them. You definitely try to watch them first so that you have a plan for what you're going to do. But lots of the activities are super fun. Several of the Saturday science videos have multiple activities that you can do. Okay? And several of them have like one thing where it's like a theme ingredient and then you can go from there. So ideally it's affordable for families to do. So that's one idea that I'm giving you a tip. And then of course, like I said, the tip is to plan these dates, and for the days when and in particular the 5th and the 11th, the days when it's likely that your child's old daycare might be available, or maybe even their after school program might be doing quote unquote holiday program or break camp that week. On those days, just reach out to them now, because those spots are going to be limited. They're not going to be able to take everybody. But you know me, and we know each other, and so you'll be ready. Okay? And then the next thing that I want to talk about before we go into conversation about donating and all that type of stuff, because we have our main things that we always cover every week. But November 27th, that's another date to highlight. That is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. But Ms. Stephanie, it's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Why do I care? Guess what? You want to be ready because your child's, all the programs are likely going to close early that day. Even daycares, okay? So just make sure early, or like aftercare. I have several aftercares that I teach at that I know they are closed. We don't have a program that day. We almost, historically, there's one particular place that historically they never have after school the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So you definitely want to be planned, especially if it's a new program that your child's going to this year, and so you're like not the most familiar, you don't have their schedule memorized like the back of your hand kind of thing. And how old am I if I'm saying back of your hand? So just okay, type of thing. Like you want to be ready for that. So those are our dates: November 2nd, 9th, 16th, Saturday Science Club, and then 5th, 11th, 28th, and then highlight the 27th in brackets. Those are dates that you want to be planning for. Parents, caregivers, adults, plan for those dates. I'm telling you now. Reach out to your support systems now. Okay? As far as donating and Giving Tuesday is like coming, y'all. It's like right there. Okay? It's right there. And so I've talked a lot about it, and I'm not going to go really in depth because my voice is holding, but I need to make sure it holds for the activity. December 3rd is when we're going to be partnering with Sugar Hill Creamery, their flagship location on Lenox, 184 Lenox Ave. They are letting us use the space that day, and we are going to be there hanging out with them. I'm super excited and super thankful for them letting us use that space that day, and we are going to be giving out STEAM starter kits, people. So just keep that event in mind. Things you need to know: you do need to register your person. your young person, the kits are totally free. Okay. The ice cream is not, but the kits are. Okay. The November 5th is when the registration and donation page specifically for Giving Tuesday, if you wanted to go specifically to our Giving Tuesday efforts, will go live on November 5th. All right. So let's go ahead and pop into this. I'm going to put that away because we do not eat or drink during our science activities. Safety first, safety always. Thank you so much for watching and joining, coming on for take 2 of the October 28th live with Ms. Steph. We are going into our activity now, y'all. Super excited to show you this. This is one of my favorites. And this one is actually really great for y'all who are going to be just tagging in a few people to encourage them to watch if they have a moment. If you are, again, trying to think to yourself, hey, you know what? I want to be the person that brings the kids' activity to the potluck or to the family event this year. This is one of the activities that's pretty straightforward to put together. And this was the activity that was that kind of lost to slime for the event that we just did. Sorry, give me a moment, miss. There we go, that's what I want. For the event that we just did with NYC Kids Fest. It was going to be this or slime. And so, but this one is really, really straightforward. I really encourage you to try it. Once again, hi, I'm live with Ms. Steph. This is our take 2 for today. I'm going to take one more sip of my voice support beverage. So, this I call conditioner Play-Doh. It's called Cloud Dough. Some of you all may, shout out to Rainbow Playmaker. Some of you may follow that individual. They're super famous for making like slime, like lots of slime and several different Cloud Dough recipes. I actually have been doing this since way before I started following them. As a science instructor, as a teaching scientist, as I call myself, for those of you who don't know, I'm Ms. Steph, and I am a teaching scientist based here in Harlem, and I'm the founder and executive director of Triple F Empowerment, Inc. Thank you so much for watching and joining us. I like to call it conditioner Play-Doh because scientists like to call stuff by what's inside of it, right? This can be done with simply 2 ingredients if you get yourself some not necessarily expensive conditioner and some cornstarch. I already started mixing this because, again, remember, this is take 2, yo. But that's all right. We're going to press on. So first tip, if you decide that you want to do a 3rd ingredient, you're going to want to mix the food coloring. I have 2 colors here. I've got some yellow and some red for October. I'm just saying, okay? For those of you all looking for a straightforward, hands-on, easy to gather the materials for activity for October 31st, you can do that by getting you a box of cornstarch and some conditioner. These are dollar store things. Buy dollar store brand. Do not buy the expensive kind. I'm going to show you what I buy for my conditioner simply because I use it for so many things. Because this also goes into our faux snow recipe that we'll talk more about as it gets closer to December, January. You see how big this container is? This is one of the 128 ounce conditioner base, like just general condition. You see how straightforward that is. The reason this works, okay, so let's dip into the science very quickly. The reason this makes Play-Doh is because Play-Doh is a powdered starch. Typically, Play-Doh is gluten, is from wheat flour. There's a whole history of Play-Doh that I'm not going to go into because we really don't have time for it. Okay, but typically you throw together some wheat flour of any brand or whatever, oil, hot water, salt. Okay? Those four things, plus then there's some other things you could add into it, and it can become a potentially cumbersome activity to try to do with young people. This activity, again, sometimes people call it cloud dough. I call it conditioner Play-Doh because I like to call it by what's inside of it as a teaching scientist. You only need 2 ingredients. Some conditioner. Do not use your fancy stuff. I'm so serious. Dollar store. As long as it doesn't have any allergens in it that are going to bother anybody in your family. Okay. Conditioner, cornstarch. That is it. That's all you absolutely need. Remember when you come to oobleck, room temperature water and some cornstarch. These are similar things. It's very straightforward. Again, the reason this now works is you've got your powdered starch. This is now gluten-free. Okay, this is a potentially gluten-free activity. You just want to make sure that none of your students are allergic to corn, because this is corn-based. This is the inside of corn, all right, in powdered form. But if all you need is to be gluten-free, this is what you've got. Now your third optional ingredient, purely optional, is a little food coloring. Tip, right? You mix the food coloring into your conditioner layer so that it will easily distribute into the cornstarch powder, because cornstarch does not like to easily mix with stuff. You gotta like really kind of do some like jamming with it. Excuse me. I'm gonna make sure I don't have another coughing fit. Fourth optional ingredient, a touch of water. Like, see how little water? Room temperature. The reason I'm doing this, next tip, the reason I'm doing this is because I want my food coloring to distribute even more. That's why. Inside of conditioner, it is a combination of the oil that you would put in like old school Play-Doh and water. That's what conditioner is. It is a fat, okay, and water, okay? And we know that from previous activities, if you've been watching me for a while, we know that food coloring mixes best with things that have water in it. Food coloring is water soluble. It's hydrophilic. Okay? And so you see how there's kind of like chunks in here? That's why I added a little bit of the water, because the food coloring is mixing only with like the water part. It's not going to want to mix with the fat layer, because as we know from our lava lamp experiment last week, food coloring, when you put the food coloring in, the food coloring helps you identify the water layer, which when we do our lava lamp, that's on the bottom, because baby oil floats on top of water. Alrighty then, so let's keep this moving. You're going to want, this spoon is not a good spoon for this, okay? This spoon just kind of got me started. You want a pretty strong mixing spoon for this. That's your next tip. You already know the tray is covered, you know, like we've been talking about that tip for a while, okay? Covered. I like the Glad stuff. You can use whatever works best for you. You're going to go you're going to start with a ratio similar to oobleck, 2-to-1. So if you've got 1 cup of cornstarch, you need a 1/2 cup of conditioner. Remember, the conditioner has in multiple components. And that's why it ends up being a 2-ingredient. The conditioner already provides a bunch of the ingredients that are in your traditional Play-Doh. Okay. So you see, I mix it up. And similar to, kind of anything where you have these types of things, you may need more of your your liquid layer, your liquid component, which is going to be the conditioner, and you may need more of your powder. So you just kind of keep both of them on hand. You're going to mix until this comes together. Additional tips. You see how this takes a little bit of while. So it will, especially if you try this at your holiday activity. Remember, my tip for you is to be the person that brings the activity for the young people to do. If you're going to do that, you want to make sure that you have enough adult supervision around. Like, this is not one of those where you have to be with them. But you do need to get them started, and you're going to want to check on them every once in a while, because they're going to come across a couple of, it's just like having them learn to cook, right? They're going to come across a couple of challenges. So this right now, believe it or not, is, this is a bit wet, especially for children who are going to have, if they tend to be kids that tend to, where the slime stays sticky on them, because that's kind of based on personal chemistry. And so this is not, this would be okay for me, but kids who tend to be on the warmer side of their body, it would be too wet for them. It's just going to break down. It won't be like Play-Doh. So you're going to want to add a little bit more of the powder. Again, you want to keep some of the components to the side so that they can add bit by bit more if they need it. All right. So yeah, this is what we've got right now. As you can tell, that's not it. That's not done. Okay. I am going to touch a little bit of it for you, just so you can get an idea of why I'm saying it's not done. You see how it's sticking to my hands? It shouldn't really stick to your hands. It should be like Play-Doh. Okay. So this is a little on the wet side. So I would add more cornstarch to that if I was going to finish making it for you. But yeah, that's it. Your basic ingredients that you need: some conditioner and some cornstarch. That's it. And kind of let them mix it together. If you want to spice it up, you can add food coloring to the conditioner first. You saw I mixed it up and then add it there. You can also add a touch of water. You see how little water I use. I mean, I would say that was less than a teaspoon of water to the conditioner layer, just to help the food coloring mix in a bit better. And mix it in. Have everybody mix it in the bowl and play with it. You could add essential oils to it if you want to. You can add a little shake of cinnamon or pumpkin pie spice to that to have a smell. This is not an edible activity, and so you want to make sure that when you're giving this activity to children, you want to make sure that they are appropriately supervised. This cannot be eaten, and this does not go down the sink. This, when it's done, because you're going to store it in an airtight container, after a while it's going to get kind of not so fun to play with. And might be a little on the smelly side because there are no preservatives in it, right? Y'all know what I mean. Come on now. All right. And then you'll need to dispose of it. And that would go into the trash. It's not going to go down the sink. Do not put this down the sink. All right. So, yeah, it's been fun. I'm glad that I was able to come back on, hang out with you all. I look forward to seeing everybody at Saturday Science Club this coming Saturday at Wadley. From 12 to 2 p.m. If you're a regular, I already have you on the list. If you're joining us for the first time, please go ahead and send me a DM or send me an email. All of my information is listed. You see how fun. And I really look forward to continuing to communicate with you all Thank you so much for watching Live with Ms. Steph. Have a great day, everybody.